Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Living with Audacity. I am your host, Aisha, and this is an extra special episode because it is the closing of season 1. Can we get a round of applause? I know I'm by myself, so I'm going to give myself a round of applause. But in preparation for today's podcast, I sat in a space of deep reflection, thinking about the journey that I've been on for the last few months, kind of shocked, but proud, but feeling like, where did the time go? Thinking about how the idea of podcasting came to me a few years ago, and to be in this space, recording, posting, hosting a podcast, not just one, but two, because of course I have another one with my best friend, has been such a learning lesson. It has been such a powerful process. And I think for me today, it's really just to share what have been the deepest parts of my reflective process, as I knew I was coming, bringing the season to a close. Do not stress. There will be another season. Your girl's not going anywhere, but you know what? You got to sometimes take a step back, reframe, take a pause, and come back bigger than ever. So, make sure you stay subscribed. Make sure you encourage some of your other friends to subscribe as well. Make sure you go back to some of the gems that maybe you thought you missed. But for me, I think one of the first biggest lessons that I have learned in this process is honestly just take a leap of faith. If you're watching this podcast and you have an idea that is brewing, if you are watching this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to start? What am I going to do? Do I have the money? Can I do this? Is it going to be successful? And not just in relation to podcasting, but just whether it's starting a business, going back to school, whatever that looks like, I want you to remember this. And I shared this in a podcast, that you will likely never fail yourself. You may not know and have all the answers, and that's okay. But our natural inclination is actually not to let ourselves fail. And so allow the fear, allow the doubt to come up. Don't suppress it, right? Because it's actually the fear and the doubt that helps you become sharpshooter focused and start to refine and define, what is it that you want to do? What is the impact that I want to make? I'll be honest, when I started this podcast, I just wanted another channel and another opportunity to share what it meant to live with audacity, to kind of spread the word around how you show up as your most authentic self, your most unapologetic self, to be affirmed and confirmed in who you are, irrespective of what the status or structure or systems are. But I could have never thought that this process in and of itself would have created another layer of refinement for me, that I would have become even more aware of the gifts that I possess, the message that I share, and also the impact that I've made. It is very humbling to get a text message, to get an email, to get a TikTok, to get a DM from someone who's like, thank you. Thank you for just showing up the way that you show up, because it has allowed me to move in that direction. That, you want to talk about a win, you want to talk about being humbled, you want to talk about being affirmed and allowing that fear and doubt to dissipate because you know that you are doing something good for one person. It has been incredible. I think the other cool thing is the fact that even though this show is called Living with Audacity, the truth is I've chosen audacity. I've chosen to just step out and be my most authentic self. Right? There might be people who watch this podcast that are like, I'm over this girl and her fedoras and her cute outfits and all the things. You know what I say? I'm in a business. Flip, turn the page, do whatever. But I have chosen audacity. I have chosen to show up in a way that at the end of the day, when I put my head down and I close my eyes, I have such a deep level of gratitude for myself. Never thinking that I'm better than anyone else, but knowing that I am better than who I was the day before. And for that, I am truly the most grateful for having started this podcast and really being willing to just show up and out and hope to God that it landed. Still so much more to do. I've also gotten comfortable with embracing uncertainty. So if you know me, I love an Excel spreadsheet. I love a Word document. I love things in order, but this process has also required a comfort level with uncertainty. Yeah, I would come here with topics and, have an idea of what I wanted to share. But the truth is, I mean, I could come on here and it go left, or me not be able to really offer the message that I was hoping to offer. But embracing uncertainty, but being affirmed in the fact that I have value, that I bring something worthy, that I am here to take up space and inspire, has almost created a situation where, like, the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty is there, but it is not overshadowing what I know to be true about myself. And that is, again, a gift that I possess to empower and inspire, and educate people to really what it means to live with audacity, to understand the importance of self-care, and not just the aesthetic self-care where you're taking an hour off. I'm talking about how you eat, how you sleep, who you connect with, who you remove from your life, the environments that you find yourself in, the people that you allow to come into your life. This has not been like that. This has been a work in progress, and it has come with much failure and hardship and trials and tribulations. And so, sitting here before all of you, there's still more growth. I am not perfect by any means, but you better believe that I have a deep awareness around who I am, and the value that I bring. And it's something that I want others to feel. Like, I don't want you to watch Living with Audacity and be like, oh my God, like, I want to be like Aisha. Nope. What I want you to say when you leave this podcast, when you finish watching an episode, when you watch maybe a reel that I put on, is like, you know what? I am so tired of allowing people to make me feel small. I am so tired of feeling as though I can't take up space. That's what I want when you leave these podcasts. I want you to have a hyper awareness around who you are and what it is that you bring to the table. I think another big piece that I've learned in this process is that growth happens everywhere. Okay. Growth in the unknown. You want to talk about revelation? You want to talk about, like, deep understanding? Yeah, sure. We grow in the areas that we plant. But what about those little extra leaves that come up that we weren't anticipating? That extra plant that blossomed from from the root and just budded. Like, growth in the unknown is the win, right? Because that's when you're really doing the deep work. Um, and also trusting myself, right? Trusting myself that with the right people, with the right connections, that success would happen. And again, when I talk about success, I'm not talking about million followers, working towards that. What I'm talking about is success in staying true to what my mission was, which was to be on a platform, to create a platform where I inspired other people to self-actualize, to self-discover, to become self-aware, and ultimately self-care in a way that even if people tried to take you off your pedestal, it was like Gorilla Glue, like that girl who put Gorilla Glue in her hair and then mash up her head. I don't even know how I got to that, but that's the extreme of how grounded. This is how grounded I want you to be, okay? Um, I think another big piece, another big eye opener, another revelation, is that, again, growth has come in discomfort. I know I sit on this beautiful couch here at Perspective Studio Productions, and I am confident and I know what I want to say. But you better believe before I sit here, I'm like, oh God, we're gonna do this again. I don't know how many episodes I've done, and I still feel the same way. But in this space, in the space of discomfort, I've been required to grow. I've been required to become more tuned into, what I'm saying, how I'm showing up, how I'm sitting, what I'm wearing, what is the message that I want to bring across. That has actually happened in the discomfort. And that through that, there's also been resilience through action, right? This has not been an easy process. I mean, to date, I've received very loving messages, but you know what? I'm sure there's someone out there who's just one freaking message away from pressing send saying, like, shut up, like, you're full of it, or I've had enough, right? My ability to absorb that, to understand that I'm not for everyone, is where the resilience in action has come through. I am prepared if someone doesn't feel the things that I'm saying have value. I'm prepared if someone doesn't vibe with me. I'm prepared if someone counters a perspective that I offer. I'm okay. I'm okay with that because, again, I've built the resilience in the action and the consistency, around, again, just being affirmed and confirmed in who I am. And I think the bonus lesson in all of this is that perfection doesn't exist. If anything, it is in the messy parts where the most powerful outcomes happen. In a quest, when I was much younger, I think I definitely sought perfection. And all I did was stress out myself. And what I've learned is that it is in those messy parts where I have really learned the greatest lesson. So don't shy away. If things are going left, sit in it, think about it, learn, listen, absorb, take stock of, right? Don't avoid it. It is in those moments where you really understand who you are and how you're showing up. And so I know I did this when it was like my 6-year anniversary, where I did like the BET Awards. I want to thank my mother. I want to thank my father. I want to thank my bestie. I want to thank my husband and my kids. I'm not going to do that again because, of course, that would imply as though I'm not coming back. But I am grateful. I have such a deep level of gratitude for the people who have been riding for me and with me. Because the way that they do is what has given me the power, has given me the confidence. It's given me the willingness to just continue to show up. This ain't easy. I'm going to tell you, this work is not easy. And to all my entrepreneurs who are out there, you know the struggle is real, but you also know the benefits and the beauty that comes from reaping what you have sown day in, day out, even when people only see the pretty side, right? I think the level of gratitude that I have for those who have been with me in the messy parts, in the losses, have earned the same opportunity to show and celebrate. And so I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for just believing in me. I thank you for encouraging me. I thank you for being honest also. Because this journey and the people in my life are not out here to gaslight me by any means. They'll be like, Aisha, I don't know that worked, or I don't know that you need to continue to do that, or maybe you need to think about this again. I am deeply appreciative of the time and the effort that people put into me, that they pour into me. Nothing that I take for granted. And of course, as I shared, I'm also grateful for myself because I've stayed the course. I've stayed the course, as I shared. It is not easy to work full time, to run a business, to have 3 children that I parent with my wonderful husband. It is not easy. The day to day is a grind, but the outcome far exceeds the hardship. So I think that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for this process. I'm grateful for the lessons learned. I'm grateful for the things that I've gotten to share. I'm grateful for the people that I've met. Even if it's just been online, like I have really received some beautiful messages, some thanks, people who have, just expressed their gratitude for the message and the way that I'm showing up. And as I said, it is humbling and it's what keeps me motivated and going. And so even though this is the end of season 1, which again is wild to say, that your girl is coming back even bigger and better, more topics, really stepping into what it means to live with audacity, even more than I already have, bringing guest speakers. But I also want to hear from you. Like, what is it in the new season? What are some things that you want to hear? What are topics you want me to share? Is there someone that you know that I'm connected with that you want me to bring on? Is there something controversial that you want me to talk about? Like, your girl's ready to spill some tea. Like, tell me, right? But either way, if you are just simply someone who watches and absorbs and takes in, I thank you. I thank you for, again, your love and support. And I'm so excited for what this new season is going to bring. Your girl is going to spend this time just chefing up even more audacious content. But in the meanwhile, again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, follow me on Instagram at metomoi.health, send me an email at aisha@metomoi.com, do all the things. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me on this crazy ride. And cheers to everyone who joined me on season 1. And make sure you join back for season 2. Thank you and see you soon.